on here. Here's the lick of the day, number 53. This is a G minor pentatonic / Aeolian picking lick. As usual, you can find a link to the tabs down in the description or by clicking here on the screen. I'm going to play it once slowly and then break it down. We start here on the 15th fret of the low E string. Right, so this is based on both the pentatonic and the Aeolian scale. And I mean, technically you could say that it's only Aeolian because the minor pentatonic scale is contained within that scale. The only thing you add to get the Aeolian is the second scale degree and the flat 6. But I think it's better to sort of break it apart because that's how the lick is played anyway. So we'll start here with an ascending 2 notes per string G minor pentatonic day 1 type shape. So you should really know this one. So that far basically. And what's cool about this lick, besides that I think that it sounds good, is that it really sort of shines a light on why you should be able to shift between 2 notes per string, 3 notes per string or whatever, and not be stuck with, you know, only 3 notes per string, or you can only do 2 notes per string. You need to be able to mix them if you want to be able to mix up your phrases. And this can be tricky at first, but working on these kind of things where it's actually a mix already, that can really help your technique out a lot. And also it can be a good like a diagnosis tool as well to see what part of this run you have the biggest problems with. But like I said, we start here with a downstroke on the low E string and just go up this pentatonic shape. And from this note, we go into this descending groups of 4 Yngwie type thing. And you do that 4 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're not familiar with this one, if I number the notes from left to right here on the top, so we have 15, 17, 18, and again numbered from left to right, 1, 2, 3. The sequence in each 3-finger position would be 1, 3, 2, 1. Then you shift down to the next 3 notes, 13, 15, 17, and you do the same sequence, 1, 3, 2, 1. Shift down again, and you get another set of whole steps here, so 11, 13, 15. Same sequence, 1, 3, 2, 1. And finally down here to the 10th fret where we have 10, 11 and 13. So, and the sequence is the same, 1, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, you're gonna go down this position. So it's almost 3 notes per string all the way, except on the G string here. So that's where we have 2 notes all of a sudden. So this is more based on what's called the caged shapes. Basically scale shapes built around the chord forms of C, A, G, E, and D. I'm not a big fan of that system at all, but it's good to know it anyway. And I'm not a big fan because it leaves gaps in between the positions. But once you know the fretboard, you don't really rely on one system or the other. You should basically be able to see the fretboard and then you play, you know, whatever notes you need to play, and however that ends up being, you know, 3 notes per string strictly, or it's going to be more of a mix here where 3 and 2 and 3. That's going to be dependent on the context. But this positioning then, you have 13, 11, 10 on the E and B string. Then we have 12 and 10 on the G string. And on the D and A string we have 13, 12, 10. And the root is here. So if we put all this together, and I notated this in 16th notes, and it just so happens that it works out to be exactly on the beat. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. practice-wise, you can try something that I call beat to beat. Basically, you start on one beat and go to the next. So you can break this one down into, let's see, you have 4, 8, 9, 10 beats. So basically you have these 10 chunks. So you go, that's the first chunk, and then you start on the note that you ended, because we start on the beat and end on a beat. That's where the name comes from, beat to beat. So, and then start on this one. Next one. And then you continue on throughout the whole thing until you reach the very end here. So it'll be the last group, and then you try to do 2 beats instead. So you go 1, 2, 3. So, and if you can do that, you start on the second beat and go up to 4. So you go 2, 3, 4. And you do that the whole way. And if that works, you start doing 3 beats, 4 beats, 5 beats, and so on. And eventually, you're gonna either be able to you work yourself up to so many beats that you basically cover the entire lick, or you're gonna find that even if you can do like 3 or 4 or 5 beats in a row, that you can actually play the whole thing up to speed. And this is also a good way to find problematic sections. So give that a try if you haven't done it before. Other than that, it's just a matter of finding smaller sections that you can repeat that sort of exaggerate the difficulty. That's the best thing if you can find that. So if you have something like this, let's say this is a problem, and you can work on that, and then it actually becomes more difficult because you have to jump back. And you can start on the next set, next one, and of course move that up and down the fretboard. So the idea is to find some sort of repeating pattern you can do, and ideally it's a bit harder than the actual part that you have a problem with in the actual run. So that takes a bit of creativity, but a good way to find this is to use this beat to beat system. And you can even go deeper with that, where you disregard where the beats are placed in the actual lick, and you start from each note of the lick. So instead of going from, you know, the first beat to the second, you do that, but then the next one, instead of starting on the second beat and going to the third, you actually start on the second note, and you disregard that this should be on the second 16th note, so you actually start this on a beat, so you can still keep that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 type feeling, but now you keep you start on an upstroke as well, so you actually put it into the context. So that would be 1. So if we number the notes, first we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're gonna play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have to start with an upstroke, and then you start from the third note, fourth, and so on. And then you can really get in there and find some weird combinations by the looks of it, but it's all within the actual licks. If you find a combination inside by doing this, and it feels really awkward, that's the perfect thing to practice, because that sequence of notes will still be there in the full lick, but it's sort of hidden. You don't really see it that way. So it's a very effective way of finding the problem areas, so you can address them instead. Right, that's it for this one. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe, because I have a feeling that you like what I'm doing here. And if you have any questions, just post them below. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed this one, and see you in the next one.